Good morning, I'm Allison and welcome to my home studio called the Lakshmi Temple, and today we're going to be focusing on the goddess herself, Lakshmi. And Lakshmi in Sanskrit translates to abundance and prosperity, the splendor of life. And if you look outside right now, in the springtime, Lakshmi is everywhere. She's in the beauty, the flowers, the earth coming alive. And one of the things I love about the metaphor of Lakshmi is that she's always seen sitting on a lotus flower. She's sitting on this big lotus. And the lotus grows, right? It grows out of the mud. It's rooted in the muddy earth. And so this represents the fact that beauty doesn't just come out of nowhere, but beauty actually comes out of the muckiness, right? And it's about gathering all the parts of ourselves, particularly the parts we don't like, right? The disowned part of ourselves, the shadow, and gathering those parts into our hearts and feeling ourselves as whole through all the parts. And so Lakshmi represents our ability to be real with who we are and all of who we are as humans, right? So we're gonna do a little practice today around gratitude, because one of the ways which we can connect with Lakshmi and prosperity is to go into a place inside of appreciation and of gratitude. So we'll take a comfortable seat. We're going to take the right hand over the left on the heart center, and then close your eyes and let your sitting bones rest on the floor. Relax your tailbone and find your breath, so breathing deeply. Arrive in your body just as it is today. A part of our embodiment practice in the feminine way is to allow all those parts of ourselves to show up in our practice just as they are. Yesterday I had one of those not so great days, and my practice was really just to give it space, just to be with the irritability, the discomfort, and just allow it to move through. Wherever you are, just showing up fully in your breath. And then feel into or think about something in your life that you feel grateful for. Something in your life that you really appreciate and feel in your heart. And then just rest in that place and notice the parts that want to go into lack and what's not working. And then just keep letting your attention come back to what's working, what you're grateful for. And breathe. And you may notice as you're sitting with appreciation, you may notice something else rises up that you feel appreciation for. And suddenly you start to feel this deeper resource from within. Just allowing your sitting bones to connect all the way down into that muddy earth, which is pretty muddy right now outside. Feel the fertile ground of your being, all the experiences you've had in your life that make up who you are, even the challenging ones. And we pull that right up into the center of the heart, feeling the gratitude of the heart. And connecting all the way up to your crown chakra, and then feeling up above your crown and your connection to the infinite source, the cosmos, and up into the sun and the moon and the planets, and beyond. Allowing that star energy to come back down through your crown into your heart center. We'll take our hands into what we call the Lotus Mudra. So joining the heels of your hands, we'll take the pinky finger and the thumb together, and then leave the rest of your hands open like a lotus flower in front of your heart. And we'll bring in the Lakshmi chant, the mantra, Om Shri Mahalakshmaye Swaha. So you can feel back into that place of gratitude, what you're grateful for in your life. We'll do 9 rounds. Exhale completely. Deep breath in. Om Shrim Mahalakshmaye Swaha. 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 Last one. Om Shrim Mahalakshmaye Swaha. Bring your hands right into Anjali Mudra. Take a gentle bow to the heart. Release your hands. Inhale, lift your head, open your eyes, and we'll do a little bit of movement. So coming onto hands and knees. Separate your hands shoulder width apart. And we'll take the knees hip width apart. And we'll come into a couple of cat-cow stretches. So inhale, round your back, draw your navel into your spine. Exhale the other way, open your chest. Inhale, round your back. And exhale. 2 more on your own. Reverse your breath, so inhale, lift. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale, curl and round. Come back to a neutral position. Keep your knees where they are and walk your hands out in front. Stretch your arms straight as though they were in downward facing dog. And release your forehead to the floor. If your forehead doesn't come to the floor, that's fine. I'd rather have you lift your inner and outer armpits and upper arm bones, and then work the opening of the shoulders by melting your heart. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. Good, and then inhale, walk back up. We're going to walk the hands over to the left. Give your right waistline a little stretch. And come back to center and over to the right, giving your left waistline a stretch. Walking back to center, we'll step the left foot forward between your hands. And then bow forward, interlace your hands, open up your back body so you feel that loop in your lower back opening. Stretch the arms out straight, and then very slowly sink your hips like you're sinking into that muddy earth. Stretch your arms up overhead. So the upper arm bones come by the ears, and you're breathing. So the deeper you sink and ground and find that steadfast energy from the hips grounding through your feet, the more open your lotus and your heart will become. So squeezing the upper arms, curl back, inhale, and then exhale, release. And we'll straighten out the front leg. Come up onto your front heel. Make sure that your back knee lines up with your back hip. Dig your heel like you're digging into your garden today and about to plant your seeds. We dig in and then we inhale, lift from the belly to the heart. Exhale, walk your hands out and fold. Listen to your breath, nice, smooth, steady Ujjayi breaths. Ujjayi is just breathing in and out through the nose. A little bit of sound. And then we'll inhale, come back to center, exhale, back onto all fours, switch sides. Step your right foot forward. We're going to take the Opposite clasp with the other clasp, the other hand forward. Stretch the arms out in front. Take a bow into your heart, just feeling back into the gratitude and appreciation for what is working in your life. Go into that feeling tone. Then root down through your hips and inhale. Very slowly rise up. Opening up to that beautiful essence of the flower. Listen to your breath. Eventually curl back, look up, inhale. Good, exhale, release your hands. And we'll come into half Hanuman runner stretch. Straightening out your front leg. Make sure your back knee lines up under your hip. Take an exhalation, dig your heel in, and then inhale. Lift from your navel to your heart, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, walk your hands out and fold. So we're not in any rush to get anywhere, because in this practice there's not a place to get to, really. Simply about going deeper into the sensation and bringing presence, your full presence, into the sensation. Seeing what's there. It's like you're exploring the landscape of the body. Inhale, come back to lunge, and exhale, we'll step back onto all fours. Line up the creases of your wrists, spread your fingers and lift your hips into downward dog. And we'll come into this first dog pose. Knees bent up on your tippy toes. Bend your knees a lot. And stretch way back through your hips. See if you can keep the mound of your index finger rooting as you slide your hips back. And then slowly extend your heels back and down evenly into the ground. Inhale into plank pose. Exhale, lower down either straight legs or knees to the floor, all the way down onto your belly. Reach back, interlace your hands. Wait for the bottom of your breath, scooping your tailbone towards your heels. Inhale, rise up. Don't worry about how far up you get. See if you can keep the thigh bones grounding, tops of the feet rooting. And then loop your shoulders back as you rise up, so open up through the heart center. Good, exhale, lower down, hands by your chest. Inhale, coming up slowly into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Heads of the arm bones loop back as you open up the throat and palate. Exhale, lower. And press back through your knees. Tap your forehead to the floor. Just take a moment of gratitude. And just even taking this moment of gratitude for the earth. The earth who gives us that muddy, fertile ground to stand. To stand in who we are, stand in our own being, and resource deeply. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, we'll step the right foot forward. Back knee lifted this time. And then inhale, bring your hands up onto your thigh. Pause here for a moment so you're bowing forward. And send energy through your back heel, inner back thigh lifting towards the ceiling. Exhale, we root down into that grounded, stable earth. Reach back behind you, interlace your hands, and we start to grow up through the lotus of the heart as you root down, growing up. You only come to that place where you still feel your ground. You still feel resource from within. One more big full in breath through the heart. Exhale, bow forward. Good. Place your hands to the inside of your foot and turn your back foot straight out. I'm just going to walk the hands a few feet in front of your foot. Take a couple of breaths here. As you inhale, move your buttocks back, inner thighs back. And as you exhale, scoop your outer right sitting bone under and soften and melt your heart a little more. Plant your hands flat. Good, and then inhale, walk your hands back in, and we'll turn the foot over so that both feet are parallel. Walk your hands out in front. Big breath in here, looking up straight. And then before you bend your elbows, soften between your shoulder blades so the thoracic spine softens. Then, keeping on your shoulder blades on your back, walk your hands in and fold. Inhale, walk your hands back out. Just turn your left foot out. Walk your hands over so they're in front of your foot. So again, we move the inner thighs back, apart. Scoop your outer left sitting bone. And then you can plant your hands flat and soften your heart center towards the floor. Inhale, walk your hands back in. We're going to turn our feet parallel again. This time, reach back. You can bend your knees a little, reach back, interlace your hands, loop the shoulders back, and exhale, fold, bow. Inhale, halfway lift. Set your hands back down, turn your feet about 45 degrees out. We'll walk the hands over to the right. And bend your right knee as you come onto your left heel. And digging your left heel in, you'll keep your shoulders at hip level. Skandasana, and then come on over to the other side. So we're stretching this inner line of the leg here. Walking all the way back to the front of your mat, slide your right leg back into downward facing dog. Come through a vinyasa, inhale, plank. Exhale, bent knees or straight legs lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back to your knees, tap your forehead in gratitude. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, downward dog. Walk your feet together. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Bend your knee and open your hip towards the ceiling. So just playfully open the hip without losing the steadiness in your shoulders. And then exhale, release. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Again, playfully bend your leg, open your hip. And then exhale, step all the way through to a lunge. This time, turn your back foot straight out. Inhale, come up halfway. Every time you clasp your hands, you can switch the clasp. Big breath in here, opening up through the collarbones, front of the chest, heart center buoyant. Exhale, bow towards the inside of the foot. You can actually rest your right shoulder on your right knee for these last couple of breaths. It's almost like you're hooking your shoulder behind your knee, and then you can slowly start to open from your navel to your heart. Curl open. And then exhale, release. Walk on over to the other side, and turning your left foot out. Reach back, take the other clasp. Wait for the bottom of your breath. Inhale, open, steady from your hips down into your feet. Open up through your chest, heart, and then exhale, bow. You can hook your shoulder behind your knee and start to open. So peeling open the heart, seeing the beauty that's already there. Exhale, release your hands, slide back, downward dog. Inhale to plank and exhale, lower to your bellies. Plant your forehead to the floor. We'll come into Shalabhasana, arms by your sides. Exhale the breath all the way out. Inhale, lift your head and chest, legs, and feet. And keep the tops of your fingers on the floor. And just play with the rotation in your legs. Lift up through the sides of your waist. Exhale, lower. We'll bend the knees. Reach back, take the tops of your feet. Bring your thigh bones so they're parallel, and then on the bottom of your breath, flex your feet, scoop your tailbone. Inhale, lift your head and chest. legs and feet. Don't worry about how high up you get. Just keep squeezing and hugging the midline as you expand from the midline out in all directions. Heart is open. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out love. And then exhale, release. Stack your hands and rest your head to one side. And then move your hips from side to side. Enjoy a couple of rounds of breathing. And then we'll press back to child's pose, pose of the child. And so we're going to finish up last few poses here, lying on our backs. And let's go ahead and straighten the legs for our fish pose, Marityasana. You're going to take your hands, hook them under the outer edges of your buttocks. Wait for your breath and then come up onto your elbows, lifting your chest and puffing up your rib cage. Right? Then from here, you can drop your head back. If you're not comfortable coming all the way down, just work the pose here. Otherwise, head comes to the floor. Walk your hands out, elbows in, into the full Matsyendrasana, the fish pose. When you're ready to come out, hook the hands back under the buttocks. Lift your head all the way up so you can see your toes, and then lie back and rest back. Just take in the opening, breathe. And we'll finish with the bridge pose. Bending one knee at a time. Take your feet parallel. I'm just going to take a couple of waves here before we go into the full pose. So exhale all the breath out. Pressing through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, lifting your hips. Just come up like a quarter of the way. Exhale, lower the hips back down, arms back down. Next wave, inhale. Maybe coming up a little bit higher. Full breath in, exhale, all the breath out. And then on this last breath, you can come to where your edge is, lifting your arms up, and then reaching under with the hands under the low back. Walk your shoulders up and in, one at a time, and come up onto your tippy toes. Get the hips nice and lifted. And you want to keep your throat neutral, chin neutral, and then the heels come back down. And find your roots. Right, so you're steady to the ground, deeply rooted in the ground. As you rise up through the hips, pelvis, heart opens. One more in-breath. And actually we're going to take the hands, heels of the hands together. Lower your hips for a couple breaths here. So you're going to basically be resting your low part of your spine on the heel of your hands. And this will open up the shoulders. And then we'll lift up slightly, release the hands, exhale, lower down. Draw one knee at a time into the chest. You can actually pull your knees wide to begin with towards your armpits. Flexing and circling your feet, ankles. Knees come in towards the armpits, the creases of the armpits. Pubic bone reaches towards the floor. And then we'll squeeze the knees in, clasp your hands around your shins. And with your hands around your shins, you can let your hip sockets, or the ball of the hip, rest in the hip socket. Go of your tailbone. Deepen your breath. Take the forehead to the knees. Give yourself one big hug, one big embrace of gratitude. Gratitude for who you are, all of you. Like you're hugging all the parts of yourself into the whole of your being. And then on the exhale, Release the feet to the floor, and then one leg at a time, we'll reach the legs straight and walk your shoulders in towards each other, palms face up towards the ceiling, Shavasana. Let go of any residual tension across your face, including your jaw and your eyebrows. Let go of any holding in the jaw area, particularly the inside of the jaw. And allow the skin on the back of your cranium to soften and widen. And as you continue to release and let go, allow your muscles to relax away from your bones, tissues to soften. Let your bones release heavily to the earth. Rest in the quiet place inside. Staying as long as you like. The rest of us will come back to some deeper breaths, breathing all the way down and in through the feet. And exhale all the breath out. You can begin to wiggle your toes and fingers. Eventually stretch your arms up overhead. Bend one knee at a time, roll gently to your side, and rest your head on your upper arm bone. Keeping your hips heavy, come on up to sitting. We'll fold our hands at our heart. Take this moment to rest in gratitude, to be in the feeling tone of gratitude, of appreciation for all that is. Feel the deep roots growing down to the earth. You sit upon your own lotus throne, comes up into the heart, a place of generosity. So we offer our practice back out into the world, back out into others. We'll finish with one Om and one Shreem. Deep breath in. Shreem. May all beings find the sweetness, the beauty, and the splendor of life, both within and outside. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing today, everyone. Namaste.